is the ibadat, acts of worship. The second section is al-adat, customs, where we will talk about the manners of eating, manners drinking, like this. Those are the customs and marriage and those things. The third section is the section of al-muhlikat, the things that are destructive, evil actions and statements, evil morals that are destructive to the human being. As for the last part, it is the section of al-munjiyat, things that will save, things that will save. So in al-muhlikat, he will talk about the evil morals and the evil qualities, the hasad, envy, the ghadab, anger, al-ujb, self-admiration, so on and so forth. In the last one, al-munjiyat, he will talk about things that save. He will talk about the repentance, about loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about al-khawf wal-raja, fear and hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the subject of the book. And I mentioned before that since the book has a lot of information, and some of the information that is not that strong, many narrations in hadith, in terms of hadith, many of them are weak, many of them are fabricated. So the later scholars took a positive approach at this book, and what they did is they selected the good things in the book and they threw out the things that are questionable. And different scholars have done that over the ages. Imam Ibn al-Jawzi did it. Imam Ibn Qudama did it. And in our time, the last century, the 1900, the Imam Muhammad Jamal ad-Din al-Qasimi from Ash-Sham, he worked on this book. He tried to summarize it, to abridge it, and to present it in a way he intended that it will be read to the jama'ah of the masjid, congregation in the masjid, with the purpose of refining the character and the moral and bringing up the level of iman in a way that the people will be more aware of the next life, of the akhirah, and they are people who will end up in paradise because they have refined their character and behavior. We started with the first section. We started with the first section, and that is the section that dealt with knowledge, the excellence of knowledge, the excellence of teaching, the excellence of learning and seeking knowledge, and the knowledge that is fard ayn. This is what we did in the last two sessions. Today, as the book is big and it comes in 2 volumes, I chose that we should jump to the second volume. The second volume, which starts with the quarter. As I said, it's 4 quarters. The first quarter is ibadat. So he talked about the shahadatain, about the salah, the siyam, the zakah, the hajj, right? And the second quarter, he talked about customs, right? The third quarter is the most destructive morals and manners and behaviors and sins. The fourth quarter is the things that save. Things that save. So as we have in different places, you see a lot being done about salah, about zakah, and basically what he did in this book, he took out many of the fiqh issues. He was talking about the moral aspect of the salah, the moral aspect of zakah, the moral aspect of the hajj, and the likes of that. I chose that we should go ahead and jump to the third quarter because this is the quarter that deals with how to perfect your character, how to make yourself a better Muslim by avoiding the destructive qualities and adorning yourself with the good and positive qualities. So this is inshallah the plan, what we're going to do. And inshallah the book, I don't know, it is not translated in English, but we will provide a link to the Arabic on our website, qssc.org. Alternatively, if you want to read in Arabic, the other abridged, and it is printed many times with different versions. مختصر منهاج القاصدين by Imam Ibn Qudama. The information is very similar. Allah knows best that Al-Imam Al-Qasimi, he was looking for a book to serve this purpose of it being presented to the general folks in the masajid, talking about the character. Maybe he did not see, or it was not printed in his time. So what he did is he himself did the summary of the book. Later on, it seems that the abridgment of, right? So if you have that, the content of both is very similar to each other. It's just that someone added more, someone put less, and the likes of that, right? And even this book by Imam Al-Qasimi, the book I'm using, is actually even another work on the book of Imam Al-Qasimi. It's called Tahdhib Maw'izat Al-Mu'minin. So the original book of Imam Al-Ghazali, Al-Ihya, then you have the abridgment of the Sheikh Al-Qasimi, Maw'izat Al-Mu'minin, right? Then what I'm using actually, and this is what we will put the link for it, is Tahdhib Maw'izat Al-Mu'minin. That after Al-Imam Al-Qasimi, he worked on the book, there were still some weak narrations here and there, and some statements here and there that needed to be fixed even more later time, right? As I said, maybe he authored the book in the 1920s, 1930s, that time. So now we are in this time, right? So they found there is a need to work on it and present it, make it even more presentable. So that is the book we are using. So this now is the book of Riyadatun Nafs, the book of training and trying to refine the self. في علاجها وإصلاحها, treating the soul and rectifying and reforming the soul. He says that معالجة النفس, treating the self, is what is meant by the statement of Allah Ta'ala, قد أفلح من زكاها. He surely has succeeded, the one who purified it, the one who sanctified it, purified and sanctified the soul. Yani, he purified himself, took away the evil qualities and adorned it with the good qualities. قد أفلح من زكاها. Surah Al-Shams, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made an oath or different oaths with his creation, the great creations that he created subhanahu wa ta'ala, the oath was made that the one who purifies his self has succeeded. On the other hand, when you yourself and abaya وَخَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, يعني by not cleaning it, by purifying it, by not clearing it of the evil dirt, and he made himself lowly. So now the sicknesses of the heart, amrad al-qulub, and how should we come to treat those sicknesses of the heart. He starts by mentioning a section or a chapter, bab, about fadilatu husnil khuluq, the excellence of good morals, wa madhammatu su'il khuluq, and the dispraise of evil character, bad character. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to his prophet, praising him alayhi salatu wasalam, and manifesting and showing the bounty and the favor that he granted him subhanahu wa ta'ala, he granted to his prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, مثنيا عليه ومظهرا نعمته لديه, saying وإنك لعظيم. The beginning of Surah Noon, Allah makes an oath by the pen and what they write, right? What they record. Right? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you are surely, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is upon a great character, having an excellent character. Aisha radiallahu anha said, when she was asked about the character of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she said his character, his behavior was the practical application and the implementation of the morals, of the behaviors that are recommended in the Quran. Right? Shaykh to do what with an open chest. You do it willingly, you do it comfortably. It's not like you are being forced, being coerced, being squeezed so that you will do what Allah commands you to do. No, you do it. This is the great character, is to do it with love, with comfort, with peace of mind, with peace in the heart. Right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam restricted his message in refining the moral and the noble characteristics. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ, I was only sent to perfect the noble morals. The noble morals. So there were morals that are great, that are being used within the people in his time. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent so that he will perfect the morals. And this shows you the high status of the morals. We are Muslims. Our religion is Islam. Our messenger is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says alayhi salatu wassalam, I was only sent to perfect the noble qualities, the noble morals. So where is the part or where is the status of morals and noble morals in Islam? What about Islam if Rasul? So if you don't have that, you are lacking so much. Right? And in one narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was asked about al-birr. Al-birr. So he answered righteousness. What is righteousness? He answered that righteousness is husnul khuluq, is having good character. That is righteousness. Also, he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, to the famous advice he gave to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, radiyallahu anhu, wa ardahu fil jannah, and that was an advice to him and to all Muslims. He said to him, ittaqillaha haythuma kunt. Fear Allah wherever you are. وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. Follow up an evil deed with a good one, you will erase it. The good deed will erase it. وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. Deal with the people mannerly, in good manners. He told alayhi salatu salam, this hadith was the basic topic that Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he discussed in his very beautiful short treatise that is called Al-Wasiyyatu Sughra, the short legacy or the short advice, rahimahullah. It was mainly explaining this statement of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this hadith is one of the ahadith Imam al-Nawawi collected in his 40. اتق الله حيثما كنت. You fulfill the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that. وأتبع السيئة الحسنة تمحها. Follow up an evil deed with a good one, you will erase it. Now you fulfill the right of the self, the right of your own. خالق الناس بخلق حسن. Now deal with the people. And therefore now you achieve the right of Allah is self is fulfilled. The right of the rest of the humans, the rest of the people, the rest of the creation, I should say, is also fulfilled. A very short advice, but very deep advice. It was said to him, alayhi salatu wasalam, about a woman, fulana, so and so. تصوم النهار وتقوم. She fasts the day and she prays the night. Now voluntary, not the prayer voluntary. سيئة الخلق, while she has bad character. She تؤذي جيرانها بلسانها. She harms her neighbors with her tongue. Right? Many ahadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asks Allah to save him and protect him from the evil neighbor. Right? The evil neighbor. Many. So this one day praying at night, but she was not a good neighbor. She was harming her neighbors with her tongue. قال لا خير فيها هي من أهل النار. He said that there is no good in her. She is from the people of the fire. When he was asked, this tells you the excellence. We are doing the section or the chapter on the excellence of the noble manners, the noble characters. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Rasulullah sallallahu our role model, our prophet, our messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, he has a great character. He said that he was sent to perfect the noble characteristics, the noble manners, right? And he, alayhi salatu wasalam, advised the companions to deal with others mannerly. And it was mentioned to him about someone who was very much worshipping, very much doing voluntary acts of worship, but she harms the neighbors. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, there is no good in her. And here the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is being asked about the believers, who amongst them is best? Who amongst the believers is the best? أفضل المؤمنين إيمانا. He answered عليه الصلاة والسلام أحسنهم خلقا. The best of the believers in terms of iman, faith, is the one who is best in terms of akhlaq, in terms of character. It is mentioned from Wahb ibn Munabbih as-San'ani, this one from the early people of the past, and he had words of wisdom. A lot of words of wisdom are reported from him, rahimahullah. He said that مثل السيء الخلق كمثل الفخارة المكسورة. He said the example of the one who had bad character, bad behavior, he is like the clay that is broken. Imagine you have a vase or a vase of clay, right? And it is broken. Can you fix that? He said, لا ترقع ولا تعاد طينا. Right? You cannot patch it, this plate or vase or made of clay. If it's broken, you cannot patch it, and you cannot turn it because it's already made, it's already broken. Right? This is the parable or the example of the one who had bad character. He mentions from Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad also one of the scholars of the past who had a lot of words of wisdom. He says, for a wicked person to accompany me, a wicked has a good character, Hasan al to accompany me, to be around, is better for me than to have a worshipper who has bad character, right? He prefers to be around someone who is not that pious, yet he has good character with others. He does not harm and annoy the others. He prefers that over having, wal-iyadhu billah, someone who is a worshipper, but then he harms the others. Like this woman, Rasulullah ﷺ was told about, who was working, harm and annoy the others. What did the scholars of the past say about husn al-khuluq? The time of Salat al-Isha is in, the adhan time is in. So let us call the adhan first, inshallah, and then we continue, inshallah ta'ala. So the next section is what the pious predecessors said regarding حسن الخلق وشرح ماهيته, explaining what exactly is حسن الخلق, a definition of حسن الخلق. The Sheikh here says that there was statements that were made by the scholars of the past defining what good character is, but in reality what they mentioned is the fruit, the thamara, the fruit of good character, and the objective or the goal behind it. For instance, it is narrated that one of them said that حسن الخلق is to have a cheerful face, بسط الوجه, وبذل الندى, to offer help and assistance to others, help them and assist them, وكف الأذى, and to withhold yourself from harming others. Another statement that was said regarding what good character is, it is to please the people in good times and in times. إرضاء, to make the people pleased and satisfied, right? In good times and in hard times, right? Sometimes when you are able financially and able, you had your body that be nice to others. But if you are lacking in your physical ability, you're tired, then you ignore, you don't like to help. So this statement is telling us to please the people, whether you are in good times or you are in bad times. And it was said, other than this statement was made regarding what is good character. But then he mentions that the Quran has pointed out to the good character, the description of the believers. He said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, the believers are nothing but the believers. They are only الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, those who believed in Allah and His Messenger. ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا, then they never doubted. وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ, and they were striving in the cause of Allah with their wills and their selves, في سبيل الله, in the way of Allah. So without having, the person he has strong, this of faith is a result of sound intellect, ثمرة العقل ومنتهى الحكمة. It is the product of sound intellect, and it indicates that this person is really having wisdom. The one who believes in Allah and has certain faith in Him, he doesn't shake, he doesn't waver in his belief, then this shows he has sound intelligence, sound mind, and he is wise. As for striving, spending his wealth and even his self in the way of Allah, then it shows that he is generous. Someone who is having a generous soul, and this refers back to him being able to control his desire, right? He is able to control his desire, right? He can give his wealth. He has the money, but he is not so much infatuated, so much in love with his money. He can control this desire, this love for the money. As for him, offering even his own self in the way of Allah, this refers back to the good moral of having courage, being brave, which also can be referred, and someone being brave and courageous, this can be referred to him controlling the power of anger that he has, that he is controlling his anger and regulating it in a way that it is normal. Everyone is created with this urge of being angry, or this quality of being able to get angry and being tough and strong. Being tough and strong is referred back to this power of the instinct of being able to get angry, right? But then the one who gives even himself with bravery, this shows that he is someone who can control and regulate this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described them as أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم. They are tough and stern with the disbelievers, right? That is at the time of war, not the time of da'wah, right? Tough and stern with the disbelievers, and then they are nice and kind towards the believers. This indicates that toughness has a place in Islam, and kindness and mercy has its place in Islam. To be perfect is not to be always tough and rough, nor it is to be always kind and mercy and like that, right? Rather, you regulate this. So back again, إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا. Faith in Allah and His Messenger without doubt. جاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله. They will offer in the way of Allah their wealth and their souls, right? في سبيل الله سبحانه وتعالى. Such are the truthful ones. So you have those believers who have certain faith, yaqeen. This can be referred to them having sound intelligence and intellect, and being wise, having wisdom, and offering their money. This shows that they are people who are generous, right? They are generous people, and this means that they are controlling and regulating this love, the desire for the wealth. As for strive, this shows that they are courageous and brave, which can be referred to them being able to control this power of anger, the instinct of anger within themselves. They can regulate it. It does not take. They are the one who control it. They can use it, and this ayah can be mentioned as a frame of reference where we refer to in terms of what good character is. We stop here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خيرا. And we will continue inshallah next week بإذن الله تعالى. We have a scholar that is visiting us for the first time in Toronto, Sudan. He lived many years in United Arab Emirates, and for the past 8 years he is still living in Mecca in Saudi Arabia. He is a teacher at Al-Qura University, and he is someone with knowledge who has been recently, last year, assigned to be one of those members or one of those shuyukh who give fatwas in the Haram, in the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca. So he will be visiting us for the first time. He will be coming here the end of March, about the 29th of March, leaving from here the 7th of April, inshallah ta'ala. So